out in the legal fight against the health care law is coming tomorrow. A federal appeals court planning to hear two cases challenging the federal mandate to buy health insurance. Attorney Kelly Saindon with us right now. Kelly, where does this stand right now?
Well, right now there are two lawsuits that have been dismissed that are being appealed, and they're in the 4th District Court. So tomorrow is oral arguments based on that. There's a school that said the Obamacare, if you will, is against their religious beliefs, and then there's also the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth, saying this is unconstitutional. So that's what's being argued tomorrow.
Now, Kelly, in the meantime, the Supreme Court is not going to fast-track this on other issues like the forcibly buying health insurance and the rest. Did that tip the Supreme Court's hand, and we have to watch closely how these various appeals court arguments stand out, because this is just one among many?
You're right, it did. And what I think tipped the Supreme Court's hand specifically recently is that Justice Kagan did not recuse herself. She had previously abstained from voting. She'd stayed out of it. There was a request to fast-track this issue, and she stayed in there. They declined to do it. And so she's, you know, a strong advocate for President Obama. She was appointed by him, and it's pretty likely now, with her staying in the mix, that the constitutionality is not going to be overturned. They're not going to say this is unconstitutional. Now,
you're the lawyer, I'm not, but I imagine in the face of all of this, this is like a big old train that keeps chugging along, and left undeterred or sidelined, again, it keeps chugging along. It keeps going further along, and more pieces of it are put in place, right? So even if the administration or those supporting it can sort of run out that clock, they're getting their way, right?
Right, because the further that we are into it, some people are saying this should be held off until it goes all the way to the Supreme Court. Don't enact it because it may be held unconstitutional. And right now the Supreme Court's saying, no, we're not fast-tracking it, and it's full steam ahead. You know, there's already funding for it. There's already processes being put into place so that it may, in fact, be so hard to untwine that could make it impossible.
What do you think happens, Kelly, in the end? I respect your opinion. In the end, what do you think is going to happen?
What I think is going to happen is it's going to be upheld. Personally, I think it is unconstitutional, but you know judges also have biases, and they base their opinions on the way that they interpret the law. And I think in this case, they're going to think there's a greater good and a need for health care, and they're going to allow it to stand. I don't think they're going to start it over and push it. It's going to be very interesting because it's going to be before the Supreme Court, right about the time the presidential campaigns are really kicking in, when we get close to an election. And I think they're going to let it stand.
Wow. Kelly, strong words. Good seeing you again. Thank you very much.
Great to see you. Thank you, Neil.